All right. May the 4th be with you. This is Pumpkin Valley on May the 4th, and this is going into the climb on the first lap. Got Anthony Fowkes there, teammate, newly minted Cat 4. And there's Nick Baird, sprinter extraordinaire. And he and I are kind of chiding Stephen Pimentel, Nick's teammate, that he promised to go easy on the first hill, and we kind of just laugh when anyone says that at Pumpkin Valley. Or when you say, "Oh man, I'm not feeling it, my legs are trash," that means you're going to ride extra hard. So this is our Wednesday night race ride. This is the little hairpin going into the climb. It's about 4 miles a lap. We do this Wednesdays. Bumped it to 6 p.m. starting local Starbucks. We do 1 lap neutral and then 5 laps hot. So this is heading into the climb here again on the first lap. I have now officially isolated the crappy GoPro battery. It's the one in the front camera. That's right, the front view that you don't see here, but it's going to be disposed of properly in a socially responsible way, and I will be replacing that battery. But decent turnout tonight. It's warm, 91 degrees, so good for some kind of early season, late spring heat adaptation. The guy that just pulled through there on the left, guest rider from Colorado, out here for work, could only make it to this one, heard about the world famous ride, and decided to come out and join us. And there's Esteban, the outside there. Steven kind of pulls through, pulls off. There's Ryan, Team California. Ryan Kaler, unsuccessful bid for Prom King. I feel like the Velo King's marketing efforts on Instagram should have netted Ryan Kaler for Prom King, but apparently came up just short. So condolences for that, Ryan. Ryan's a strong junior racer, finishing out a senior year in high school. So that's kind of who the players are. Let's jump ahead a bit. See, it's pretty lined out here. The wind's not too bad. A little crosswind, I guess right to left on this section. So jumping ahead here to the top stretch. We're at mile 2.7. We're about a mile in when it started, so if you want to kind of follow along with the distance in the middle of the screen there. I usually put in a little dig on the top here before the descent, so I went ahead and did that, but just enough to kind of soften the field, not necessarily snap it. So when Steven comes motoring through along with Ryan, there's Michael, I think his name was Colorado. He was saying that's some pretty massive group rides. He's up kind of Boulder, Colorado area. So here we're kind of rolling into the descent. It's tempting on the descent. You think you can kind of attack and get away. So I kind of do that, but usually if Steven's in the field, he's going to stitch this back up for the sake of everyone except me. I think that's kind of what happens here. I'm bent over arrow, 37, 39 miles an hour. Get a little gap going. I'm hoping, this is a good spot where if one person comes across, then you can kind of open it up and stay away. A good course for kind of those small breakaways. But let's see, who is the offender? How dare they bring my brake back? It looks like it was Nick Baird this time. Steven, you dirty dog. And then Steven kind of comes around. Centerline violation, clearly. I've got that on tape. He rolls up the road, but he just kind of gets a gap and then kind of soft pedals, lets us back on. Um, he knows we don't put up with that here at Pumpkin Valley. Jumping ahead to the climb on the second lap here. This is our little hairpin. This is the second of 5 laps. And I think Stephen finally waits for us to catch him on this climb. So ramp it up a little bit. Ryan on my wheel. He's riding strong. Kind of pull off, let him pull through. There's the teammate Alex, puts a little dig. And there's Steven, the guilty offender. So I think we let Alex get up the road a little bit here solo. So we get a little split. A little false flat here at the top of the climb. Then once we get past these bushes, you get the kind of crosswind exposure towards a right to left. Jumping ahead just a bit, setting up for the, looks like setting up for the descent. Still second lap. Seems like I usually like to attack right here. There it is. And Ryan does a good job staying glued to my wheel. We come around. I think I flick him through. He obliges. But ride bike's got it stitched up pretty good, so no dice on that one. And we swing wide, then we'll start the descent here. Last little bit of the second lap down to the start finish. But we're still together here, so got a good range of fitness still in the pack here. A couple of the Ascend guys, I think that's Dave Nichols there in the blue kit. You can see. I think I'm on Alex's wheel here. Yep, he pulls off, I pull through. So it's definitely challenging this round of Pumpkin Valley. So I think last round we implemented the Mark is not Velo Kings on Wednesday night. So I have to race without teammates on this ride. There it is. So that's Mitchell O'Neill, or Mitchell Neal, I should say. Brought him on the team just a few months ago. Discovered him out in the foothills riding his dad's, 30-year-old down tube shifter. I think it's old school Pinarello. But he's riding strong. And there is teammate George Shortis with the world famous Windspace T1500. Hoping George rolls with me up to Winchester Circuit Race this weekend. Steven, Super Arrow with the bar bag on the front. We need a parachute on him. He's too strong, so I don't think that's enough of a handicap for him. I think we need to fill that bag with rocks and then put a drag chute behind him just to kind of slow him down. Alex with another little attack, but I'll go with that. Alex is pretty active here. I know it's probably just a decoy to draw me out. It worked. So I roll up to him, pull through. But again, pretty hard to open it up with Steven and Nick. They don't want it to go. It's probably not going to go. That, or I think actually Mitchell kind of brought this one back. So this was good. This was his first time doing Pumpkin Valley. I was telling him, dude, you gotta check it out. It'll really be helpful for kind of understanding race dynamics. And he rode really well. Um, Said he learned a lot. You know, he's a Cat 4, and you know, in races, you don't get any instruction mid race, but was able to kind of pull up next to him and give him some tips. There's Joe Booth coming through, and I think that rounds off the second lap here. So just starting the third lap. Hairpin on the third lap into the climb, and I think this is where the field splits. Is here on the third lap on this climb. So Nick goes. I think I'm on Steven's wheel. Steven goes for a minute, thinking it's me. And as he's grinning, it's like, I thought that was you. I was like, I was glad it wasn't. So Nick's kind of ramping it up here, and it ends up splitting the field. So I'm sitting on Nick's wheel. Mitchell's doing a good job hanging on. He just has to work on when he pulls through, just to ease through. He kind of surges when he pulls through, and it just uh, it hurts him. He's wasting fitness doing it mid race, and then it's kind of not cool because you just make the guy behind you have to surge and so forth. But he rode good, so give him little pointers like that. But he's gonna be good. He's got a track or cross country background, so he's a runner. So he's got a good engine anyway. We just got to kind of refine him a little bit. So, ladies, Mitchell is on the market. He's a very lonely 20-something. So, I don't know if he's on social media. I'm thinking he's missing the boat if he's not, because that's probably where all the dating action can happen. Maybe he's on all the apps, swiping right and left and doing all that stuff. I don't know. Mitchell, chime in the comments. What's your game? So yeah, you can see got Mitchell and George shortest behind me. George makes a split, and then he splits. So he's like, 3 laps is all I got, and I'm gonna go get a nice iced coffee or something. So I think he swings off as soon as it's clear. So he kind of motions through, and George is out. Thanks, George. So jumping ahead here, this is Bell Lap. We're going into Bell Lap. So there's Anthony. I think he pulled off and then tried to jump back in. He was kind of close up at the start finish. And there's Ilias. This usually mean Ilias is about to pull off when he does kind of a big move going into the hairpin. And I think Nick's in front of me and kind of grabs his wheel, stitches it up. Let's see. So I got Mitchell behind me. I think we still have Esteban in it. We've got Michael from Colorado. And I think we've got all 3 ride bikes guys myself. So I think there's 7, 8 if you count Ilias, but he's about to pull the eject lever on this one. So final hairpin into the climb on final lap. Thanks, Ilias. Pin a number on. Let's get racing. And so here we go. Into the climb. I think I pull through, and pretty sure Steven is leading us up the climb. So I think Steven's right next to me here. We're both just like trying to pretend like we're just not working, but we're putting in like 600 watts. And I think a high cadence. Yeah, I'm at like 125 RPM. And it's like, dude, this is hurting me. I hope this is hurting you. But we're both keeping this kind of poker face. It's kind of funny. Talked about it afterwards. I think Alex, I think flatted out. I think Anthony, who tried to jump back in, pulled back off. So there's Mitchell, Nick, I think Michael. He gives me a little push. I'm like, bro, I don't want to pull through that. So I just stopped pedaling. He kind of chuckled. I think he says touche or something. I'm like, man, I ain't gonna take double pulls on bell lap. So there's Esteban. Like, I'll give you a reprieve, Esteban. I'll slot in front of you. So here, jumping ahead a little bit. This is the spot I like to attack. Boom, there I go. Taking a flyer, going long before the downhill. And Stephen the seamstress stitches this one back up. See what I did there? So kind of all back together here. And jumping into the lead out into the finishing sprint. So we've got Stephen leading us out all the way from the bottom of the hill. Nick's sitting second wheel. I'm third wheel. Mitchell is fourth wheel. Told him to stay close. And I think it might be maybe Esteban behind him. But this is that long stretch. It's going to make a right-hand bend here, and then we'll open up the sprint. Steven pulls off early. Nick goes. I go. And I'm putting in a pretty good dig here. But I'm in Nick's draft, but I can't freaking come around him. He's a real sprinter. I'm just a pretender. So that's how it ends up, folks. And Mitchell doing a good job making the selection, coming up with a rounding out the podium for third in the weekly Pumpkin Valley practice circuit. Thanks for watching. Check out the other videos on the channel. And I'll be running cameras this weekend at the Winchester Circuit Race.